Hey everyone, welcome back to Correlation Nation. You're tuning into the Prop Spot, and today it is March 26th. We have a 4 game slate, thank goodness. And I want to talk about just a couple things real quick before we dive right into the slate. And that's just talking about how our hits and misses. And in all honesty, every day when I'm doing this, I'm going to be going back to look at the things that we missed and trying to figure out a way that we can improve those misses, and that way in the future, where our hit rate is so much higher. I feel like the hit rate already is pretty good, but we're trying to hit everything, which I know is not going to happen. But we want to figure out a way to eliminate, or at least limit the amount of things that we're missing on. And so the reason I bring this up is because I think it was yesterday there was a Sabonis deal that kind of hurt me. Betting a point prop on Sabonis when obviously he's very capable of getting there in points. His per 36 is right around 20. He plays a good allotment of minutes. And, he usually does fall around this 16, 17, 18 points. You're going to feel pretty good about that. But when you take a step back and you really look at it, the fact of the matter is, this guy, he does a lot more than just score. I mean, he's a very strong rebounder. I'm gonna feel good about a rebound prop on a guy like that. But also, he distributes the ball. He's a playmaker. And they have other offensive threats. And so, as I've said before, this is really, you're trying to process all this information in a short amount of time. If Sabonis is playing and he's in a position where the opponent just, is like a funnel towards a center position, and Fox is in a position where maybe he's not playing, or their offensive threats are limited on that particular day, then yeah, you might look to play a point prop on this guy. But you have to be cognizant and think this just isn't the spot to play it. And yesterday that was a mistake on my behalf. I should have never played that prop. The rebound prop hit, the point prop fell short. And like I said, taking a step back, looking at it later, I have to be able to identify, the simple fact that, not all of the offense runs through this guy as far as scoring. He might be on the other end of, like, an assist, or, grabbing a rebound, all these things. But anyways, that's just an example. And so moving forward, I'm going to try to identify these things. These are things that I'm going to talk about during the slate. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and hop right into today's slate. We'll talk about our notes and we'll go over these things. So starting off, I want to identify the injuries that we're dealing with. So Anthony Davis, he's questionable, pretty likely to play. LeBron was questionable. He's been scratched already at this point. So we're going to go ahead and scratch him out of our notes. Giannis is questionable, and he's been dealing with a lot of stuff. So management's definitely a thing right now for him. We're coming down the stretch. I think there's a good chance he plays, but keep your eye on whether this guy plays or not. And also your numbers, like 30 points, I have it highlighted yellow. It's a bit high. Obviously, he can get there, but dealing with injury management, Middleton coming back, it's a very good spot for Damian Lillard. So, you might temper your expectations on a point prop with him today. But that's not to say he can't get there. You just want to be careful playing a prop that high, especially, like I said, just considering all the other elements to this situation. Portis, well, I'm not going to go. He's not injured. So, Middleton, I believe he's questionable, or at least was. And let me pull this up real quick so we can see what the current status of this game is. Yeah, so still questionable, but I would say he's pretty likely to play. He's been dealing with injury management as well, come back from quite a bit of time off, but I think he's capable of playing mid-30s if they need it. So I'd say he's pretty likely to play. Um, Butler, on the other hand, I think he is kind of a true questionable. I'm I guess I'm not real sure. Let's pull him up because I'm not real sure what he's dealing with. Let's just see what it says here. He didn't participate in Tuesday morning shoot around due to a non-COVID illness, but is probable. Okay, so sick, but probable. So I guess pretty likely to play. Was already in a bit of a shooting slump, so I'm not gonna be looking to place any props on this guy. Again, I want to limit the amount of exposure I have to guys that are not in a position to do what I need them to do. So I'm gonna definitely stay away from the Butler props today. Rozier, sorry, I'm so used to just running through these. It looks like those are the only real. I think Luka's questionable. We'll pull that up real quickly as well. Yeah, so he's questionable. So left Achilles soreness. Yeah, I think it's a pretty important game for them. So there's probably a pretty good chance that he's playing. But again, limit your exposure. I mean, he's obviously dealing with some type of injury, and that could definitely have an impact on the numbers that you're used to seeing from the guy day in and day out. All right. So Sabonis, I got a 14 rebound, 17-point prop. We just spoke about this guy, and the 14 rebounds, it's a bit high. He could definitely get there, but I'm gonna like that number a bit lower. But obviously he's very capable of getting there. They're going against Dallas, and I don't mind that. I don't mind the rebound prop on this guy at all. I am going to limit my exposure to the point prop. He hasn't been getting there here recently on the 17 points. And as I already mentioned, I just don't want to play a rebound prop on this guy. If you play much lower, obviously he's got this double streak, but good luck finding a prop that low in points that's even worth playing. Jonas Valanciunas, he's in a pretty good spot to get rebounds. The Thunder give up a lot of offensive rebounds, but J Val's I don't know that he matches up particularly well. With Chet Holmgren. I'd say that Chet's obviously his role's a lot more secure. With that being said, I wouldn't be surprised to see Larry Nance to steal some minutes, but also even maybe Zion potentially playing a bit of the 5 position in this particular game, because what Chet will do is his offense will pull him away from the basket. 6 rebounds is a low number on him, but the role is very volatile in this matchup. But he's still liable to get to 6 rebounds in the limited amount of time that he's going to be on the floor today. You want to be very, very careful with this guy, especially like I said, just the volatility of his role. Zion 6 rebounds, 23 points, not particularly a super strong rebounder. Could be in the spot to get the rebounds today, but again, I don't love playing this prop, just due to the fact that he's not typically a strong rebounder. And then the 23 points, yeah, I don't love it. I mean, he's in a position to score. But, I played a prop on this guy the other day, done nothing. And that's not even really the reason I don't want to play it. I mean, it's something that I got to consider. But the Thunder are pretty strong inside. And that's more the reason I don't want to play it. So it is a tough matchup. And I'm just not going to rely on him for any points. Anthony Davis, he's questionable, but likely to play. 11 rebounds, 22 points. The rebounds, you might cut that down just a little bit. You might aim for like 10. I think it's a very live number. But if you can get it at 10, you're going to like it a lot more. And then the 22 points, I think, is very live as well. It's a bit of a tough matchup because they'll be going against Milwaukee. Milwaukee's pretty fast-paced. Should be a relatively high-scoring game. Should be a close matchup. But how they match up, Giannis and Anthony Davis, I know that they, you're center and power forward, but there's, I think, a pretty good chance that they could try to match them up on one another, and I don't know how that's going to affect the numbers. But either way, Anthony Davis is a strong player. These are very important games for them, and 22 points is pretty doable for him. So I'd say if you can get him at 10 rebounds, 20 points, that's something that you're going to favor quite a bit. Bam, nine rebounds, 14 points. These are both very live numbers. You know, I'm not going to rely on the points prop for Bam, just simply, you know, I don't know if he's going to be relied on for the offense. And they are going against. It's like I have a hard time remembering this sometimes. Uh, the Warriors. Yeah, I mean it's not the worst matchup, that's for sure. I'll tell you this right now. I'm not going to be running to play the points prop on the guy. It is a low number. I think it's more than achievable. You could look at it and you could probably use it, but it shouldn't be your favorite prop. But if Jimmy Butler for some reason doesn't play, or even just the fact that he is sick and it could affect his offense tonight, yeah, I think that it becomes quite a bit more live just with that. But you know the rebound props I like more. Giannis, 10 rebounds, 30 points. Already spoke about him a little bit. I think the rebound prop's okay. You know, he's a guy that, you know, he could be kind of up and down with his rebounds. We'll pull him up over here just to see. So he's averaging 11 and a half. But, you know, he had 19 against Oklahoma, and that kind of goes back to what I was saying about Oklahoma. But look, you know, here we have 9. Down here we have 7, 7, 8. So at any point he could fall under that. And then also just dealing with injury. Yeah, I don't know if I would put too much into that. You know, just be real cautious with him today because he is dealing with injury. And then 30 points, yeah, it's a pretty good spot, but you like that number quite a bit lower. Honestly, if I can get him like under 25, you know, 24, I start to like it a lot more. Portis 8 rebounds. Yeah, same matchup. I don't know how. I mean, I know his role's secure, but I don't know how consistent his minutes are. Like if they're pretty standard or if they kind of fluctuate. 28, 30, 33, 30, 22, 21. So you can see a little bit of fluctuation here. Um, I want to say he's right around 11 per 36. And I probably have him at 2/3. Well, let's see. I might have him under that. No, 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 no. Yeah. Let's say 7. I don't know. So 7's probably a pretty live number. That's why I have the red arrow underneath it. 7's probably a pretty live number. Just be careful because it is extremely volatile. Like if he plays 22 minutes, you know, you're probably only getting like, I don't know, 5, maybe 6, maybe 3. Yeah, let's just say again, you want to aim for a number that you think is going to hit every time. And I think 6. If you can get Portis at 6, that's a pretty live number. That's not saying it would hit 100% of the time, but it's a number that's going to hit at a pretty high rate. Anywho, Draymond Green 6 rebounds. Definitely not a very good spot for him. He's been rebounding the ball pretty well, so he could get there. But you know, it's not a prop I love. Trace is questionable. I think he bumped his knee or you know collided with somebody, which is why he has a Q tag. But you know, the dude's I would say likely to still get some run. I don't think it's going to keep him out. 5 rebounds, 10 points. Yeah, I don't know. I would be cautious with this guy today. Not that the numbers are bad. I think they're pretty achievable, but you don't know how this injury is going to be managed today, so just be careful with that. Brandon Pajimski, his minutes have been getting cut down quite a bit. I've noticed lately. So for 4 rebounds is doable. I mean, he is you know like an 8 to 9 rebound per 36. But when you're only getting a very limited amount of time, so over the past 10 games, he's averaging 27. But here as of late, you see 19, 27, 23, 25, 35, 28. So he's kind of all over the place. The last game, you know, he got cut down quite a bit, and that would, you know, like he didn't get there to New York. I mean, both of those are really tough matchups, New York and Minnesota for rebounding the ball. I still think that the 4 is pretty live. He gets there every other time, and Yeah, be careful with it. Miami's a tough spot too. You know, they rebound the ball pretty well, so they're a hard opponent to get rebounds against, and I would be very cautious with that. Otherwise, I would like it. I just think it's a tough matchup. Luka, 8 rebounds, 30 points. He fell just short of that yesterday, 29 points, 8 rebounds. They're playing Sacramento, so a bit of a tough spot for the rebound. But I think he can get there. He's just kind of all over the place. 30 points, I like it a lower number. I mean, he's very live to get to 30. But, you know, obviously dealing with injury management, you know, limit this guy. Limit the amount of exposure you have to any of the props that are on this person. So just be careful with Luka today. Gafford, 7 rebounds, 12 points. Live numbers for sure. The thing that I want to point out and that I'd be very cautious of today is that they are going against Sacramento. Sabonis is enough of an offensive threat that he could get Gafford in foul trouble. This is something I mentioned the other day. I didn't think it was a spot that he would get in that foul trouble. Today's a day that I would be a little bit worried about it. Not to say that it's going to happen, but it definitely could. Gafford's known to get in foul trouble. And, yeah, I'd be careful with this guy. But, you know, the numbers are obviously live. 7 rebounds, 12 points. It's just a matter of whether, you know, he's able to stay out of foul trouble. PJ Washington, 4 rebounds, six points. Yeah, these are achievable numbers for him. I don't mind him at all. It is a tough spot. But, you know, 4 rebounds. He's very consistent around the 4 or 5 rebounds per game. That's why I have him at 4, because I don't know, and we'll pull it up real quick, but I don't know if there's been a game within the past 10 that he's hit under that. Yeah, there's one game. So down here against Chicago, Detroit, he had 2 rebounds. But every other game, he's over that. And that's a number that you can probably find. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for something that allows you that window. So him at 4 rebounds is a pretty live number, I would say. 6 points is also fairly live, but again, not a guy that you really want to rely on for points. You know, he's going to be more of like a catch and shoot type of guy in this offense. He's not relying on, he's not going to have the ball in his hand a whole lot. But as you can see, 16, 6, 8, 4, 6, you know, really all over the place. Chet Holmgren, tough spot for sure. 8 rebounds, 15 points. I think these numbers are doable. I like 8 lower. Not that he can't get to 8, and even though it is a tough matchup, you know, as I mentioned before with Valanciunas, if he's not in the game because of Chet and his offense, then that could really open up more rebounds for the guy. That's the way I see this. So even though it shows on paper that it's pretty tough, I do see this as a spot where, you know, if New Orleans starts mixing up their rotations and who's playing the 5, then that could actually open up more rebounding opportunities for Chet. Typically not the strongest rebounder. He's right around a 10 rebound per 36, I think. But he has been rebounding the ball pretty well here just recently. So he's averaging right around 30 minutes, 9 rebounds. You know, we'll discount the last game because it's 25 minutes and against Milwaukee. But, you know, you can see 10, 14, 10, 8, 13. Down here, 22 minutes, 6. And then Miami 3. Yeah. Not the strongest rebounder in the world, but he has been rebounding the ball a little bit here, or better here lately. So you can look at it. You could consider it at a lower number. You know, if you can get it to 6, 7, you might look at it a little bit more. But it is a tough matchup. And what I'm saying all is dependent upon what the opponent does. So bear in mind that even though I think that this is doable, it's maybe not something you want to place a whole lot of money on, that's for sure. And then 15 points. I mean, it is a tough matchup. But he's up around 20 per 36. And, you know, he's been getting there quite a bit here lately. Not the worst, not the best. And then I got Giddey at 6 rebounds. So his role's a little bit more insecure, that's for sure. However, he is like one of their, like, he's like the second best rebounder on their team, at least one that gets significant run. He's probably going to be limited to around 24-ish minutes. I don't know. It's probably somewhere between 24 and 28 is probably what you're going to be looking at. And that could be more just based off the opponent. So I think 6 rebounds is pretty live, but again, you would be betting on something that, a role that's that's just not certain. It's very uncertain. So do what you will with that. Dame, 20 points. He's in a pretty good spot. Yeah, I think I kind of like Dame's prop today, just based off matchup. He's clearly live to score more than 20. Averaging 25 in the past 10. OKC, they're notorious for being pretty tough against the guard. I think they trap quite a bit, so it makes it tough on them. But you can see 30, 32, 31, and then under 17 or 17, 10, 35, 28, 20, 41. So yeah, obviously very live to hit more than that. But I'd say his roll will probably be pretty good today. That's what I think. I think his roll will be pretty good today. And, I don't want to bet a higher number than 20. So if I can get him around 20, I like that. Middleton, 14 points, questionable roll. Pretty low number. If he gets the minutes, I think he's pretty live to get there. Should be a fairly good matchup for him. So I don't mind that either. You just gotta be careful because he's been dealing with a lot of injuries throughout the year. But 14 points is more than doable for Middleton. Fox at 20 points. It's kind of like Dame, a little bit different. The spot's not quite as good, but he's shown history kind of shows that he does well in this spot, even though it's not the best spot on paper. So 20 plus points is pretty live for him. Let's see what his recent productions looks like. Averaging 24, 23, yeah. So only one game in the past 20 that he's gone, or sorry, only one game in the past 10 that he's gone under 20. And this is definitely a very live number. I don't mind that. Monk, 18 points. Dude's not been shooting the ball very well. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I like that. D-Lo at 17 points. These numbers are pretty good, actually. It's a good spot against Milwaukee, fast pace. You got either Damian Lillard or Malik Beasley guarding either of these guys, whether it's D'Lo or Reeves. And the numbers you should be able to get hopefully a little bit lower. LeBron's not playing today, so it makes these guys a little bit more live. Usually I'll just say they're kind of gap fillers. But I'd say D'Lo will take on a pretty good role today. And then Reeves, I got him at 16 points. Typically I don't bet him more than like 12. So we'll try to keep that number as low as possible. And then I think that makes his number pretty live as well. So I think these guys will take on a bit more of a role trying to replace the production of LeBron James. Butler's questionable. Again, got him at 19 points, not shooting the ball well. We're just kind of going to try to stay away from that. Rozier at 13 points. I like that quite a bit going against Golden State. He should be in a position to get there. Kyrie, 21 points. Yeah, pretty good prop. Very live number. And then, with Luka dealing with injury, I think that makes it even more live. So 21 points for Kyrie's a pretty likable number. CJ McCollum at 18 points. The number's definitely higher than I like, but I think the recent production's been there. Now, I will mention I just said that they're playing Oklahoma, and they have definitely played pretty well against the guard position. So that's going to make it tough, but if you can find this guy at a much lower number, I was betting right around like 10, 11 before, but that was before Brandon Ingram got hurt. His production's gone way up, so I'd say that the prop line's gone way up. Yeah, you just limit this, but if you can find it in a real low number, you might look at it. Otherwise, just be real careful. Trey Murphy, he didn't shoot the ball very well in his last game, but 10 is a very low number. He should be in a very good spot as far as catch and shoot against Oklahoma. The opportunity should be there, and so as long as he's able to shoot the ball a little bit better today. I think that the 10 points for Trey Murphy is a very good spot. SGA 30 points, a little bit tougher spot. New Orleans has a pretty tough defense. But I mean, again, history shows with this guy that even Herb Jones can't really slow down SGA. So this is what I'm going to say. When you got a guy like this in a position like this, you have him in a 30-point prop. Dude's hit 30, 31 points like regularly throughout the year. Super live number. If you can find it at 25, it's still probably worth looking at, even though it's a very tough spot. Jalen Williams, 18 points. I don't know, little bit tough spot for him. I don't know how much I like it. I mean, it's just a tough spot, tough defense. And he's not like SGA where he's proven over and over and over and over again that he's an elite scorer. I do think he is a very good offensive player, and I think he has the potential to prove that he is a very, very elite scorer. I mean, I've seen him make some really, really good turnaround jumpers, in clutch situations that a lot of players would not make. And so I do think that the potential's there for Jalen Williams. I think it's a tough matchup, so I would temper your expectations on this. Curry, 25 points. He's been playing pretty well as of late. I've mentioned before that I don't really like play some point prop on Curry. It's not something I really love to do, but very important game. Now, his minutes, I think, are going to, I think Steve Kerr said that they're limiting it. They want him to be around 30 minutes. So that makes his play even more questionable. Yeah, you got to be careful with that. Now, Kamin gets 16 points. It's a bit of a lower number for him. It is a tough matchup. I think it's a live number for sure. And then Clay at 16 points as well. I like Clay probably the most out of these because it's the type of scoring that he's going to be doing. The catch and shoot, kind of like Trey Murphy, 16 points. If his shot's falling, he's going to get there pretty quickly. And I think that's the one that I'd be looking at the most in this situation. But you got to be careful with him just because he is coming off the bench. And you're not entirely sure what his role is going to be. Or how many minutes he's going to end up getting throughout the game. But that's probably the favorite player or the favorite point prop I have for Golden State. So, just a quick recap on what I like. I do like the Clay 16 points. SGA, if you can get it a much lower number, like 25, I would look at it. Trey Murphy, 10 points like that. Kyrie, 21. Rozier, 13. D'Lo and Reeves. Reeves at 12. D'Lo 17 is fine. I mean, I don't mind that. Fox prop. Dame prop. PJ rebound prop. I like Lucas, but I'm going to be careful with him just because of the questionable tag. So I'm not going to put him in a whole lot. I like Bam's rebound prop, and if for some reason Butler doesn't play, I'll look at his points prop as well. And then Sabonis at let's just say 12 rebounds. I mean, you could play the 14, but it's a high number. And I just like it at a bit lower number. So they're the ones I like the most throughout the day. Anyways, we're going to continue to try to improve our process. We're going to try to hit as many of these as we possibly can. And I hope everyone has a great day. I hope you all are able to win a bunch of money. Peace out, guys.